So this past week, I got a phone call from the DeSales University campus police. We had a report, they said, of 2 students that were fighting on campus. We wanted to know where you were so that we could investigate the incident further. Now, I wasn't on campus at the time, but it does not necessarily surprise me that when you lock 30 middle school boys together for 2 weeks, that occasionally they're going to break into a fight. I assured the officer I would look into it. I figured law enforcement was a bit extreme for 2 middle schoolers scuffling on a camp. But then I called the director of the program to learn that there was no fight. No fight ever happened. 2 guys were simply being boisterous and loud, as middle schoolers are prone to do, joking, laughing, and messing with each other. And someone in the cafeteria saw them, assumed a fight was happening, and called the police. Whoever saw those 2 black students made a snap judgment and assumed a threat where none was found. And I must admit, I just got so tired after learning the truth of this whole exchange. Because if this was the first time something like this had happened, I could chalk it up to an innocent mistake. Someone trying to do the right thing, but just getting it wrong. But when time after time I watch interactions unfold differently, when I am with students or graduates who are Black or Latino, you begin to realize just how warped some of our perspectives are. I can't tell you how many times I've been in my own parking lot talking to a black grad, and a car will slow down, roll down the window, and ask, "Is everything okay, sir?" This has never happened in the decades of talking to white students or grads in that same parking lot. Or I have been with a group of Nativity students in a public space surrounded by other groups of students on a field trip, and some stranger will come up to me and go, "Why are your students being so loud?" When the volume level is exactly the same, the only difference is the color of the skin my students wear. The truth is, my students who are Black and Latino are always seen differently by this world around them. They are seen as threat and other in a way that I never have been and never will be. And this is true regardless of how I see them. Regardless of the beauty and brilliance, the complexity and brokenness, the innocence and potential that I see contained within each of them. Because the truth is, long before anyone gets to know them, the die has already been cast. And it will impact them throughout their lives. How they are educated, who will hire them, who will promote them, who will befriend them, where they will live, and how they will be treated by this society every day when they walk out their door into the world around them. And yet, I hear this gospel, and I know that this status quo cannot stand. For it flies directly in the face of the parable we've just heard. For Jesus understood just how easily we're all socialized to perceive groups of people as other, to judge them or dismiss them or criminalize them simply because of the color of their skin or the way they worship God, who they love or the gender they identify with, the poverty they experience or the disability they carry, the criminal record they hold or their immigration status, their political affiliation or the neighborhood they grew up in. How quickly so many of us become experts in the other, assuming we know them, simply based on a snapshot of characteristics that we've learned. And it is in response to this human condition, this desire to keep people simple and in boxes where we control and understand the narrative, that Jesus uses the perfect analogy. Because the weed described in the gospel is not just any plant. he uses a particular weed, fennel. And fennel is virtually indistinguishable from wheat until the very end of the growing cycle. Only a farmer who is utterly ignorant or arrogant would assume to be able to tell the difference until the very end of the harvest. And I'm convinced that that wisdom of the farmer is the invitation to us. If we are going to attempt to understand another, this will only be accomplished through a lifetime of accompaniment, where we come to know someone through listening, walking with, learning from, sharing with, and loving them. And in so doing, we enter in a profound way into their story. And we realize that all the snap judgments, all the societal frameworks, all the ways we box people away are still based on ignorance and arrogance. That if we are to be wise, like our Heavenly Father, we will see that all those fail in the face of the irrepeatable, unique gift that is each individual. So this is the work, my friends, to go out into the fields of our lives and spend time with all the abundant plants that are growing all around us, not presuming that we can tell them apart, but learning from them and discovering the great truth, which is at the end of the day, we're all wheat, as long as we see each other the way our God does. May God be praised.